Hi and welcome back to Steve's Kitchen. We are continuing the cake theme. Now I'm taking that simple batter and trying to encourage people not to get the box batters, but actually take this one and make so many different cakes. And today we're going to make a real kids classic, the red velvet cupcake. I'm going to put a Nutella frosting on it as well. This is so easy to make. Come on, let's get started. Now today's recipe is going to make about 12 cupcakes and we're using equal quantities of all our ingredients, the usual pound cake batter. I've got 200 grams, that's about 7 ounces of softened butter into a bowl, and 200 grams, 7 ounces of white sugar. Just going to use a spoon to cream these together. And don't forget, you can use an electric mixer. So we've now got this wonderful sugary butter here. We're going to pop into that our 4 eggs. I'm changing over to the whisk here. I'm just going to whisk this all together. And you want to be fairly vigorous with this because we're getting some air into the batter. And now we're ready to put our self-raising flour in there. I've got 200 grams, 7 ounces again. Just pop that on top. I'm going to add a teaspoon of baking powder in there as well. Now because this is going to be a red velvet cake, I'm going to get some dark cocoa, Dutch processed, and I'm putting a couple of tablespoons in with the flour. Now this is where the recipe starts to change a little bit from our traditional pound cake. We've got our cocoa in there and we're going to put some red food colouring. Now I'm going to put about a tablespoon of food colouring in because I want a fairly strong red colour. And ideally you want to use a gel or a strong food colouring. Now we're also going to add a couple of teaspoons of a white vinegar in with our mix. It reacts with the cocoa when it's cooking and adds more redness to our red velvet cake. And then we're going to mix this all together to get our lovely red velvet cake batter. Now look at that, we've got this wonderful red velvet cake batter now. Now I've added a few extra dry ingredients, so I'm going to add a couple of tablespoons of full cream milk. And then we'll just give this one last mix and we're ready to go. Now you can decide if you want to put them straight into your muffin tins. I'm going to pop them in these little silicone holders. I just think they look pretty. And we're going to distribute this red velvet batter into each of the cupcake holders. Now I want to fill them about 3/4 of the way up. And whilst we're filling these, get your oven on 170 degrees Celsius, 325 Fahrenheit. And we're going to cook these for about 15 to 20 minutes. Just keep an eye on them. We don't want them to go too dark brown on the top. So we've got about 12 cupcakes filled there. I'm going to pop these in the oven now and we'll bring them out when they're cooked. And there they are out of the oven. Now they are perfect textbook cupcakes. Keep it simple, stupid. We're going to leave these on the side now to completely cool down and then we'll decorate them. Now whilst they're cooling on the side, we might as well get and make our Nutella butter frosting. I've got 2 cups, that's 250 grams of powdered sugar in here. I'm going to add a couple of tablespoons of full cream milk into that. And then I've got 125 grams, that's about 4 ounces of softened butter. Now that would make a normal butter frosting with a little bit of vanilla in it. I'm just going to start to whisk this together and make it nice and creamy before we add the Nutella. Now that gives us a wonderful butter frosting. If I wasn't going Nutella, I'd put a little bit of lemon rind in here and some vanilla extract, but we're going to be popping about ½ a cup of Nutella in with the mix. And then we're going to continue to whisk this up and we'll get this lovely chocolate frosting. And there we've got this wonderful Nutella frosting, which I'm going to pop in a piping bag, and when those cupcakes have cooled down, we're going to pipe it on top. Now, if you haven't got the kids involved already, you should do by now. My cupcakes have cooled down. I've got frosting, one in a bag with a nozzle on, one without. Come down here, let me show you what we can do. We can take either a nozzle like this and put a little design around, something simple. Pop a simple little design, put some coloured sprinkles on there. And we can take a plain piping bag like this, maybe put a nice big dollop in the centre there, put a spike on it and follow around the edges with some smaller ones. Now you could do this in a Ziploc bag, but these piping bags are a lot cheaper. Or you could just take your piping bag and put a plain, simple swirl around like this. So take a look at those cupcakes. They are my Nutella frosted red velvet cupcakes. I've got one here. I'm not actually going to try these. I'm saving these for the kids. They come out perfectly well. Please share the love if you've enjoyed this, all from the same cake mix, by the way. So give this one the thumbs up, and I'll see you in the final video, which is coming up shortly, which will be a great bonanza. Look out for that one. Take care. Thank you. See you next time. Now that frosting, by the way, will keep in the fridge. I made way too much of it here, so you could probably halve that recipe if you like. I'll leave some links to some other videos up here. As always, I love to hear your comments. Be good. I'll see you next time.